Welcome to the podcast, the Muses That Spark. We are your hosts, Melanie and Athena, and today we're going to talk about the power of words.
I'm so excited to be talking about this subject because words are. It's kind of weird, not gonna lie. We talk to ourselves the moment we are born until the very last breath we take. Like, we can see that from science, how the last seconds before you die, you see your whole life all over again. Well, I'm not sure how that's true. I have not discovered it myself, but for now that's all we know. And the moment you wake up, you're a baby, and well, maybe your thoughts are like goo, but at some point you're literally talking to yourself, thinking, what's going on here? What is this shape? What is this color? And then after you're born, you have 80 whole years to live with yourself. That's a lot of talking to yourself, not gonna lie. That is a lot of words. Now, in this episode, we want to talk about what words do you use to talk to yourself? Like, do you scold to yourself? Do you compliment yourself? And it really shows on your point of view in life as well how much effect this has. So, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Perfect.
There is a connection between the words that we use and the thoughts that we have. So, for example, when we are talking about a certain subject, your point of view starts changing in that certain subject as well. Like, once someone sends me a compliment, I take it as a very nice thing to hear. I get very happy when someone compliments me. But there are also people who are thinking, why did they compliment me? What is their thought behind it? Why would they even compliment me? So it really is, the words are not enough. It's also the thought process. Now, if you start saying nicer words to yourself, they say also fake it till you make it. So the more you're nice to yourself and more, you start to believe in them as well because you get used to them. You want to add something to what I'm saying?
I'm listening because it's really inspiring. If you're waking up, you're already thinking things. So when I'm waking up, I can have a little bit of a sad mood or anything.
It's groggy.
Yeah, indeed. And that can be because of a dream I had or maybe the first thoughts that popped in my mind. But why? Because when I have a nice dream and I will wake up, I will have a better day. Because your mind is setting your day as it is. So if you had like a bad dream and you're going through it, everything can trigger at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But when I wake up with a little grumpy or anything and I am positive at myself, I can change my view for the day. I can change something. I can make my day so much better. And that's what I wanted to say, the impact of words.
Mm-hmm. Can you give an example of a day this happened?
Well, today, yeah. Yeah, because I had a nightmare. It was really horrible.
Aww.
I'm not going to get in detail of it. I woke up and I didn't have my sleep, but I knew that the positive things in this day will come. So I had some appointments and also doing this podcast with you, and I knew that this day will be amazing. But first of all, I just looked in the mirror and said to myself, you're strong, you're amazing, yeah, you had a bad dream, but you can do this. And that really changed my point of view. But I needed to travel like an hour and a half with the train and the bus, and that really nagged me because I'm not used to it. So I just listened to a positive podcast, I just listened to positive affirmation, I made a positive affirmation TikTok, which made my day so much better. And that's what I also want to say, that if you are really grumpy in the morning and you want to be grumpy the whole day, that's really on you. You can't blame it on anything. That's the power of words. If you are grumpy and you want to be happy, in a day. You can be happy. It's really possible. Like today, I'm really happy that I did it. I'm really happy that I just go with the flow. I really, yeah. Do you have any moments you had a bad experience and that positive words helped you?
Well, a couple of days ago, I was feeling a bit down. And normally, I always know what to do when I feel down. I am listening to affirmations, I'm talking nicely to myself. But this was a different day. This was a day I didn't feel like listening to anyone at all. I was not in the mood. And I think some of our listeners can also imagine themselves thinking, gosh, nice, all these positive words, but I'm not in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Been there, totally been there. However, I decided, you know what, I will half-heartedly listen to some podcast. It was a very nice one. Little did I know that those words made my head think, so if we come back to our thoughts, it made me think, yes, okay, you're going through this right now, but you are much better than that. You have evolved much more than I was a few years ago. I noticed comparing myself to my previous self before also gives me a bigger boost, thinking, wow, if back then I've been going through worse, then today feeling sad, I can also overcome. I can overcome this. I mean, I'm 23 years old. I've been through a lot of stuff, you know? And if I have gone through that, I can go through this.
And what did it make you feel to just grab your phone or maybe your laptop and just listen to it?
For me personally, whenever I feel this way, I would listen to it and know that it will become better. And normally I would totally be like, you know what? If I listen to this, everything's gonna be fine. But I think a lot of listeners can probably relate to this, that sometimes you just don't feel like it. But then it's unfortunately the case that you let your emotions control how your day is gonna be like. Because after listening to those podcasts, I started listening to TED Talks, I started listening to other stuff, I started journaling, I started doing stuff, and then bam, before I knew it, I was running to my car because I felt like running or something, you know. I felt like doing stuff after that.
Yeah,
That's
so
productive.
so it really motivates you. And if you're going back to the power of words, I think before you listen to some podcast, I can imagine that you had like negative self-talk. You didn't want to go out of bed. I imagine this.
Yeah.
So you didn't want to go out of bed. You're just thinking, what am I going to do with my life today? Maybe, you know, sometimes I have those thoughts as well. How were the talks different after you listened to the podcast? What was the difference? What made you
Well, I think you can also relate to after listening to your affirmations in the train. So before you go, you think, oh, I need to get the train. With those many people, you already have a very negative stigma behind the words that you're saying. It's not even bad words, because going in the train with a lot of people, that those words are very neutral.
Mm-hmm.
It's the moment you put like a voice behind it. For example, oh, I'm going in the train and there's a lot of people to connect with. That's already a whole different perspective than the first one.
Exactly.
So it also really helps your point of view. How do you look at it? Now, in the beginning, if we're saying in the very beginning of our journey, it can be quite difficult to be looking at those neutral words with positive meanings behind them.
Yeah.
So that's why we need the positive words to work on actually everything. For example, the sun. If you don't like the sun because you get sunburned easily, you change the perspective to, oh, we like the sun because it gives us light, so I can see this more clearly. Something like that. You change the way you use your words. instead of saying, I noticed this lately a lot as well on magazines that they say, today it's Monday again, and we all know how people really do not like Monday.
Yeah.
So instead of thinking, oh, it's Monday, I need to wake up, you just think of something. Why not just make it more nice and happy? Now, maybe in the beginning you'll think it's quite fake. But over time, at some point, you're gonna also realize, why did I look at Monday in such a bad thing? It's at the end of the day, it's just a day. It's just a day in your life. That you're breathing, you're healthy. You know, it's another day of your life. Why does it have to be a bad day just because it's called Monday?
Well, I think also people are really working towards Friday or towards Saturday, and then when they have like the Saturday and enjoyed it, and then have Sunday and enjoyed it, and think like, oh, I need to work tomorrow. I know that feeling. But if you don't work till Saturday because you make your day really good, then it's not working towards something. You're working every day towards something that makes you happy. And still in the corporate world, it's still possible to make one thing on your day that really makes you happy. It can be your breakfast, because you have a really good breakfast. It can be maybe, we had to talk about it, like a coffee, maybe at Starbucks, or anything that can really make your day, or just something, one thing that makes your day really special. And it doesn't have to be the same each day.
No, we're not robots. We don't function the same every day.
No.
Every day it can be quite different. So also talking to yourself, like as you hear from us, we also had experiences that we just didn't want to go through the day. So how do we fix that? Now, one day this compliment works, but the other day a completely different one works much better. Sometimes even repeating the same compliment for a whole week every day, you will take it differently as compared to the first day of the week. And that's also, every day goes differently.
Because we are a person that doesn't work, like you said, as a robot. We want every day, we want something else. That's why we're also on our phones scrolling, because it's like dopamine. We want something else. But if you can make your dopamine in a day that really makes you want to live, then still, if you have a corporate work, you can still do it. But I know it's a challenge, and I know it maybe takes some of your time, but it's worth it, because then you don't work for the Saturdays and Sundays.
No, if we're talking about if you really work for the weekends, for me what really helped was slow mornings. Alright, you have to get a bit up earlier than you want to. I still struggle with that as well. I even told you this morning, I put my alarm at 7:30, and then I woke up at 8, knowing that I skipped my whole alarm. I just snoozed it away, because I knew I wanted to continue sleeping, and I allowed myself, but then I had less time to get ready. But any other day, if I did wake up on 6:30, 5:30, I like to wake up early. But if any other day I wake up early, I take my time, take a shower. I even have a skincare routine I don't need. I just do it to make myself, basically compliment myself on waking up early. Like this, congratulations, you woke up early. Here's your skincare routine. Here is a relaxing a shower. It's basically a spa day every day, you know?
Yeah, but that's something that makes you happy, and you enjoy, and you really want to do it. So you desire every day to do it. So that makes your day just more beautiful, more, you have more the desire to live for that day because of a simple thing. Because it's really not that difficult to take care of your skin. And if that makes you happy on a day, then do it, you know?
I also, for example, right now, when I go in the car, I you notice I have different types of music tastes. So
yes.
a lot of different types. However, musics, there are words in them, and they impact you very, very heavily. I remembered I was listening to this song called Driver's License. I don't remember who created it, but I think a lot of listeners know who I'm talking about. And I was listening to her, and it's a heartbreak song. Now, I haven't had a partner for many years now, but then I would be feeling the heartbreak. I would feel so sad. I'm like, yes, it's so sad.
So beautiful.
You feel with the music. However, even though I'm not sad, and then after that, suddenly a happy songs come on, and then I need to literally adjust my feeling. Like, wait, hold on, I was sad just a second ago,
and now I need to be happy.
Now I need to be happy, but it has such a big effect. So for me, I tend to skip the sad songs completely.
Yeah.
For years, I do not listen to sad songs, but every now and then, a little guilty pleasure, it's fine. But if you notice, this has this big, the words of the songs or the feelings behind the songs has this big effect on you, as it does for me, for example, then it might be a suggestion to only listen to happy songs.
Yeah.
Now, then again, we're still humans. We have all kinds of emotions. So thinking positively doesn't mean there is no negativity. There is also so much beauty in negative thoughts. Like, people create artworks out of drama. Look at like Van Gogh. He was a very depressed guy, if I say so myself. But he is one of the biggest painters in the world. But without that, we could not feel what his paintings mean. But we just try to help you guys feel more positive.
Yeah,
so these are just suggestions.
And I always remember myself, if there are no dark days, then there are no light days. You need to go through dark things. We just talked about it today. We were in the car and we said, if we don't go through this, why should we do anything? Why should we have a good life? Why should we have a purpose? Why should we go through something that we'll know that we already have it good? So why we need to go through it? So life will put you in situations that you think like, oh my God, how am I going to survive this? But it's at that moment you are going to change. Maybe that moment you can have like a drive in you. At that moment you know what you want to do. Eventually, maybe in the moment you're sad, you don't know anything and you're questioning a lot, but you are really thinking about things you want to desire. You want to have a purpose maybe, or anything. And maybe before that you just felt numb or anything else because you were okay. You thought, oh, my life is okay, I don't have to need anything more. But life put you in that situation for a purpose, as did it with me, with you, with everyone. And that's why we do things. When you are a kid and you want to walk and you are falling constantly, do you think that the kid is going to stop? No, it's going to go further with walking. He or she is going to try again, and falls again, till eventually they can step a little bit like a little baby. You know how the walks are, but they are walking.
And they even tell their parents, look, I'm walking. Like, it's the same with us, and for you as well. If you have not gone through those dark days,
how can you write your story? How?
Yeah.
If you don't have any dark days, how can you inspire maybe other people?
How can you tell people, look, I've overcome this, I've achieved this and that. If you say it went easy, people are like, okay, but for me it's hard. But if it went hard, people want to listen to you. Now, if it went easy, I am so happy that it did. I am so grateful. Like, we wish you nothing but the best. Like, some things come easier for you, but other things don't. Now, that's what I more or less wanted to say. For example, the child is so happy They're so happy that they can walk, but they couldn't if they didn't fall that many times before. So how are they able to say, yes, I'm walking, when they are still crawling?
Yeah, and how can they be happy? Because if they weren't, well, not offended, but if they weren't sad about falling constantly, then the moment that they can walk, there is such a spark because they had achieved something. And that's the same with, well, I had that like the last few days. I am so happy because I've achieved something I didn't thought that I would achieve. The emotions are also influenced by what you're feeling the past couple of days. And maybe, for example, I have struggled like almost 2 years for something. 2 years, that's so a long time. And right now I've achieved it and I'm so happy. And I have a lot of gratitude. Also, words of also the impact of words, of course. But I couldn't be this happy if I didn't been going through those past 2 years. So that's also why the words are so impactful, because they can also write your emotion eventually. It's really like a movie. Imagine your character, you're writing about your character and you're writing, yeah, she's not worthy, she's not this, she's not that, or he, maybe you're he. What do you think your character will do? Or you're going to write about your character. She or he is happy, she this and that, strong, maybe independent if that's something what you want that makes you powerful. Or maybe I'm soft, I like to be soft, maybe that's something that makes you feel powerful.
If we look at, for example, movies, like I know a lot of people like Marvel movies or superhero movies.
Yeah.
They also been through something before they could become the hero.
Yeah.
Same with the villains. Suddenly this villains have their origin story, their villain origin story, you know?
Yeah.
And most nowadays we also see like villains becoming heroes. They turning out to being the hero the whole time. People are questioning the heroes and etc etc. But they also had their story. So once you write down your life story, what are the thoughts of the person that you're writing about? And imagine that person being you. What would they think? How would they think? How do they want to think? Like if something bad happens in their life, do you want them to react angry at it, sad, happy? How do you want their thought process to go? And imagine that being you. What if this scenario happened to you? How would you like to react to it?
Yeah, and the one thing I just want to say, I want to take my moment for this. I'm going to sit down. So, Rome is not built in a day. Don't expect from yourself that tomorrow you will be a different person. It's just not how it works. And to motivate you, if you do it daily, constantly, day by day, one spark at a time, one spark at a day, you will achieve it. You will achieve what you have dreamed of. Maybe to be a more positive person, but you can do it. So you've talked about those characters, and it's just so simple. It's just a day by day by day by day, constantly.
It can take
it's a
1 day,
process.
it can take a month, it can take a week, but it can also take a year, 2 years, 10 years.
Yeah,
It
but
can
let
take a lot of
yourself
time.
be patient, because I know how hard it sounds. I know I have been a person, I can now say I have more patience, but I've been a person without any patience. Really. Like, it has been a journey for me. But if you have your patience and just take it day by day, you will come there. And after a while, maybe it takes 2 months or 6 months or maybe a year, and you look back, then you're thinking like, wow, it was so fast, but I was so impatient.
Yeah.
It was, And I had the same experience, but I know if you, it's really a process. You need to go through it. If you
But
want
it's
to.
also like, for example, if we're gonna talk about the patience of the time, it's not like you only live for the next 2 years.
No.
If it's gonna take 10 years, it's gonna take 10 years. But you're not gonna live for 10 years. You're gonna, well, at least we hope you live till you're 80, 100. And if even then you have not discovered it yet, you have so much time in front of you. Now, the future is scary.
It is.
Because
it is
we cannot predict it. That is true. We cannot predict the future. However, just thinking about at some point you're gonna have to retire, but that retirement is way ahead of its time. You're looking at the future. Man, just think about now. What can you do right now? And if we're going back to our words and thoughts, if these compliment words help right now, then they will also help tomorrow, and they will help the next day. Just start with now.
With today, when you're listening.
While you're listening, after listening to this podcast, maybe you've done it before listening to this. Congratulations, good job. Yeah. So, but then you need to repeat it because it's not a one-time process. I remember I read this quote, if we're talking about manifesting, for example, it's not a one-time thing, it's a lifestyle. And we really hope that talking nicely to yourself also becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because you deserve it. Why do you not deserve to be talking nice to yourself? Like,
wouldn't you to your sister? Wouldn't you to your brother? To your mother maybe? To your father? Your parents?
your best friend?
Your best friend. If your best friend comes to you and says those negative things about themselves, what would you say? Would you say the same, or would you be more positive about it? You're not going to talk to other people in a bad way if you love them, of course. You can be genuine, you can say what the situation is, but you still be positive. And you also are your own friend, and you are our friends, and we don't want you to talk about yourself that way.
No, that's why we're here also. Like, what do you achieve by being mean to yourself? When the world is already mean to you, what extra does it give to yourself? Like, I remember listening to this one video that said, you go on social media and you say to people, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, you're so gorgeous, best girlfriend, wifey, blah blah blah, and yet you go look in the mirror. You know what I'm talking about.
I know.
You look in the mirror and you cannot even say that to yourself. Why? Look at yourself. Come on. Like, if you can say that to someone else, then you deserve to be talking like that to yourself as well.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And take these words, well, if you want seriously, repeat this episode, please, so many times to just get it in your system, because I think you need, sometimes it's not the right time, but it's always the right time to be kind to yourself. And I know, as a person, you can be really harsh on yourself, and it's also really good to be nice to yourself, because what's going to happen if you're going to be nice to yourself?
Who are you gonna hurt actually by being nice to yourself? What are you afraid of? Like, the world will collapse because you gave yourself a compliment. I think it will make the world much more beautiful once you do it.
And others, if you are really caring about others, then be nice to yourself, because if you are mean to yourself, you will be mean to others. If you put a lot of worth in other people, then be kind to yourself, because that's going to help also for the people around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's kind of the same if, lastly, for example, if you do the dishes, and I don't know if you live with your parents or with your housemates or even alone, if someone says, finally, how do you react to that? But if someone says thank you, you think, yes, I did a good job. Like, you'll notice a difference immediately. Now, to wrap it up, we do have a bit of homework.
We
don't
have
want to
an
call it
exercise.
homework. Aw,
We have an
definitely not.
exercise.
I want to add something to
Oh,
be
yeah.
honest. So the first thing is, if you notice yourself struggling with being nice to yourself, we want to challenge you. Write down one compliment on a piece of paper, on your favorite book, notebook, or on the fridge, I don't know, on a whiteboard. Anywhere. It's just, it shouldn't be erasable. So, write this compliment down. Now, you don't think you can compliment yourself. What would be a compliment you would give someone else? So, your parents, your family, friends, a stranger you saw walk by. Maybe they wore a nice outfit. Maybe they were nice. I don't know.
Maybe your animals.
Yes, little Daisy. So, write this compliment down and change it towards yourself. I am this. Maybe it says beautiful. Maybe I am beautiful. And then you repeat it once a day. I don't think we're asking for much. We're asking for one compliment once a day. And if you feel like adding more, feel free to. Absolutely, feel free to. If you want to have 5 compliments, 10 compliments, I mean, infinity amount of compliments. It never should be enough. Keep going.
But remember, it's just an easy step to go forward. This is, we have come with this exercise because it's so simple. It's just, it doesn't take a lot of your time. You put it anywhere, you will see it, and you will repeat it once a day. It's really that simple. I don't think it really takes a lot of your time, and it really has a lot of impact on your life. Because if you want to do something easy and simple and has a really big impact, then this is one exercise that will.
Now I want to ask something from the comments. Ooh. Well, we've been discussing about how words affect us when we are on a sad mood and what words really helped us. Now, for you guys, I want to ask, what was like the biggest anecdote, story, or words, or maybe even podcasts or people that really helped you at that moment you felt a bit down? What really helped you? Maybe with this story you can inspire other people to do the same thing. Like, we are here giving advice, but we're also here working on being better together. And I think we can also learn from you.
Yeah. And know you are worth it, and we always want to listen to you. Yeah.
So that's it for now. Yeah, that's it.
See you next week.
See you next week. Thank you so much for listening, and remember,
one spark at a time. Bye.
Bye.